So please tell me, what is the present focus of your company?
Uh, at Money on Mobile, we have been in operation for 5 years. We just concluded our fifth anniversary. So for the first 5 years, our focus was pretty much B2B. So we have around 250,000 merchants or outlets in Pan India, all good presence in all the regions, where these agents use our platform to provide financial services to end consumer. So we have built this RBI approved platform which does hundreds of thousands or millions of transactions a month for different transactions, whether it's a bill payment, mobile top up, and money transfer. And now we're also doing bus ticketing and railway ticketing and airline ticketing. So the focus now is that after we have serviced about 150 million customers over the last 5 years, we see that there's an opportunity for people to move from assisted model at the retailer to self-service, and especially at the youth and the younger population who are very tech and mobile savvy. And we already have a mobile app, but we haven't pushed it that much. So my role as a CEO at Money on Mobile is more focused on the B2C business. I've just joined 2 weeks ago after 15 years in Singapore with large MNCs to come and push the agenda for self-service in a B2C model. And in that, obviously, we are looking at various sector focus. We are looking at working with large OEM, ODM manufacturers on handsets so that our Money on Mobile app can be pre-burned on their devices. We are also focusing a lot on education sector to see that we are providing a payment ecosystem in universities, schools, and colleges, because there are a lot of other payment needs there. So I think we have a sector focus and direct to consumer focus in the coming year. Thank you.
So you've talked about that you have a sector focus. If I need to know, what is the split that, which are the potential sectors that the company is focusing, and what is the split that you gain out of those sectors?
Yeah, so the sector at the moment it's just a business plan. So obviously we haven't executed on that, but the three or four big sectors are obviously the retail, organized retail, to mid-size retail, hospitality, which is food and beverages, education, and telecom. So if we say these are the four things, and we are focusing equally on all of them, but obviously certain segments it will be more easy to adopt because people are more used to mobile payments, maybe the QSR or cafe coffee days of the world, and Domino's where the youth is more, compared to maybe education where the parent has to be educated to put the money through the mobile platform. So we can talk to you in 6 months to share how the split has been. But at the moment, we are going with a kind of a equal focus on all the four verticals.
So congratulations that it's been 5 years running
Thank
down
you.
the line. So what are the challenges that you have foreseen before starting this venture, and what are the changes that you have seen over the period of time?
See, one thing is the consumer behavior, right? So we launch a service with hoping that consumers will do certain things. But then there's a lot of education and a lot of time is spent in educating both the consumer and also the channel to exhibit a certain behavior. So people are, so even if you look at the payment transaction, right, when the people were going into the branches, then they move to ATM and then they're moving to POS and online. So it has taken over 30 years for those banks to move from cash economy to a digital economy. And still the digital payments is only about 10% of the overall personal consumption spends. So if 30 years they've only penetrated 10%, so I think we've made good progress in the last 5 years. But like I said, we could do more. And also the challenge for that is, this is not an uncontested space. There are other providers who are RBI approved. There are about 7, 8 people, and now we'll have small banks, payment banks, post office bank. So all of these people will also try to offer these services. So the challenge is always to provide the best service at the best price, which is safe and secure, and have a good experience for the consumer so that they come back again. So most of our customers are repeat customers. It's rarely that people will do a one-off transaction and then never come up. And they have a relationship with that outlet and they continuously go there, and they have a trust factor. So I think we are building on that trust and going into the next year's planning. But like I said, it's a good business to be in, so a lot of other people will come in as well. But like I said, we welcome competition.
So what is the roadmap that you are developing now?
Yeah. So the roadmap, like I said, our vision is to be the first digital payment product for any Indian who has a mobile phone. Suppose if you're a student and you become a 16 or 18-year-old when you can get a bank account, why can't we be the digital bank account for you on a mobile app and do lots of things? Even if you get a bank account, then you have to use that account in places, either through a debit card or a credit card to do shopping or do kind of money transfer or do even pay your school fees or apply for overseas universities for the forms and admissions. So we want to create the whole ecosystem for a youth, for the housewife who has the dhobi, the maid, the driver, the kirana wala come into her and she's handling cash to them. So at least in a day, 4 or 5 times she would transact in cash. How can we digitize that? And housewives are good with their cash, but they're not very good with looking at bank statements and looking at their SMS alerts. So we want to make it very seamless and intuitive for them to use a digital payment method and kind of migrate from using cash, which is the digital agenda of the country as well. Today, if you have seen the newspaper, they've said that if a merchant accepts a digital payment method, even though the reference was more to card, there will be 1 to 2% VAT subsidy to the merchant. So similarly, we believe that people in India used to use cash thinking it doesn't leave a trail, but if there is a 2% subsidy, a lot of people will migrate to using digital payment methods. So we will enable all of that and kind of in line with the government's agenda and provide those tools and methods for people to kind of make the most benefit of those schemes.
Sir, a very good initiative that you've taken. But what are the security features that you have, being digital, there's always a risk of
Ji.
security also. And so what is the security features
Yeah,
that you
sure. Good question. See, security is paramount for us because we are handling people's money and we are RBI regulated. So we want to provide bank grade security. So our mobile apps, when they will come, they will have a, I would say, mission critical security protocols implemented in them. And very recently, I can give you a sneak peek. We have signed up with some innovative security companies which are providing their security to the Defense Department of Defense of India. So if the government of India's Ministry of Defense can trust them, we believe we are in good hands. And what me and my MD Shashank have agreed that once we implement that in a month or so, we'll have a nationwide hackathon. Ki boss, hack it. If you hack it, we give you a prize and hire you. So it's going to be a recruitment drive to get some innovative engineers to say that if you can penetrate this app and show it to us how you do it, and we'll hire you. So we believe that that we are going to invest a lot in technology, which is going to keep the platform secure, and we will make it like a kind of a brand that we are not penetratable, and so many people tried.
So fee management is another aspect that is taking height nowadays. So can you throw light on the Indian education sector as far as payment through the usage of technology is concerned?
Yeah. So I would say that I'm not personally on top of the fee management initiatives, but I have come across one or two technology startup companies which try to aggregate schools and colleges on a platform, on a digital platform, and enable people to pay their fee digitally. So we ourselves have a couple of solutions already in the market. So one of them, we call it Pay Jaldi. That means any school, when they have to collect a fees, they can, today all schools are connected to SMS with the parent, ki boss, there's a flood in Mumbai, so don't come to school. So all parents' mobile phones are on the system. So whenever the fee is due, so if suppose few days before, if the school can push using our platform a unique SMS to the parent's mobile phone, so the parent can open that SMS on their mobile phone and see, ki boss, what is this request for? They can say, okay, your child in class 5 has to pay this quarter fee and it's 10,000 rupees and pay now. So we have a pay now button by which you can pay through the money on mobile wallet, or you can also pay through a credit card, debit card. So we are enabling that, and it's not only specifically built for education sector, but education sector has a good relevance. So I'm saying tomorrow if you want to go and apply for Delhi University after your +2 and you have to buy forms of so many schools, and today you have to go to a State Bank of India and queue up, and bank is closed for lunch and everything. So there's a lot of cumbersome steps there. So we believe any situation where a student in the education sector has to pay, whether it's his school fee, whether it's library fine, whether there's payment in the canteen, whether it's applying for overseas school admissions or university admissions, we'll enable it on our platform by tying up with those institutions. But at the same time, we are open if somebody has already done the tie-ups and they want to have a method to collect money from people, so we can enable all our wallets on their platform. So we are open for partnership as well as on our own effort.
And what are the stumbling blocks hampering the growth of this arena? And then
Fee
any
management,
challenge? Yeah.
like I said, today they have other options, right? People are used to, writing a check and paying the fee. Some people are already having a direct debit through ACH. You can tell the bank to pay whenever the school requests fee. Some people go online and pay on credit card because they get reward points if the school accepts credit card. So there are alternatives. But obviously for school, if they collect the fee on time, it's better for them. They can manage their finances better because it's an expensive business to run a school, right? So if they can collect their money and they don't have to call and remind people, so the money cost and time cost can be avoided by having a digital payment solution. But I believe that today there are competing solutions, but there is no huge pain that either the institution is facing or the parent is facing that they'll have to adopt something in a hurry. So it will take its own kind of adoption cycle. So I think we are in the early phase of giving these new digital options to parents in the schools. And I think it has to be worked in a collaborative approach, like I said, between the service provider, the payment company like ourselves, parents and the schools to kind of have a mass adoption.
If I need to know the market size, do you have any idea, approximate what would be the market size of this?
I'm saying I can hazard a guess, like I said. So if there are 5 million students and everybody's paying at least 1,000 to 2,000 rupees fees per month, so you can do the math. So it's a huge, huge, huge number. And like I said, maybe a lot of that's happening in cash today. And if schools have an incentive for people to pay in digital money, whether they give them a discount or whether they give them better control, I think it will definitely have takers.
And what will be the major benefits an individual or an organization will get out while adopting this kind of an solution or the initiative?
So I think I think the benefit is for the institution, right? For any company which has to collect money, collection is a cost. Whether they send somebody to collect cash, there's a cost. Whether they ask you to come and put a check and check clears in 2 days, there's a cost. So for somebody who's running an expense line, they have to pay the drivers, the staff, the rent of the building. If they can have their own money to use rather than go to the bank and borrow and then collect from the school fees from the parents, it's a huge cost save. So there's definitely benefit for them. And for parents as well. So if you don't have a website to pay through a card, but you have our link to pay, the parent doesn't have to take 1 hour leave from office or go to the school to pay physically in the cash. Because if there's cash, somebody has to go and deposit, right? Sometimes parents don't want to give 10,000 rupees to a kid, not for distrust, but just because they don't want to give cash for them, just as a security precaution. So parents will definitely go themselves, and whether it's the father or the mother or a grandparent, somebody has to make that effort to go out. So it's again the time travel cost, so it's not free. So if you monetize all of that and say that there's time savings for the parents and there is peace of mind that it's paid and they've got a notification that the child won't be harassed at school, and the school gets paid on time and they can use their own money to spend and incur their expenses. So I think it's a win-win for both the parent and the school.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time.
Thank you very much.